Hey peeps, welcome back. It's always great to see you. So, back again with Annika Moore,
Hi.
because we were being kind of harangued by a certain someone to hurry
Yes,
up and make another video. Keslan.
yes, our number one fan,
Mm.
Kesla.
All of our fan.
Our fan, just the one fan.
Although we have quite a few video,
Yeah,
views, but
views, yeah.
but
Thank you.
yeah, you're awesome, by the way. Cool. Hope it helped you. But yeah, we decided that we wanted to actually talk about another aspect of grief, and that's when you kind of lose someone,
Yeah, it's
but
grief
not to
without,
death.
grief
Yeah.
without death.
Yeah. Kind of thing. And mainly we wanted to touch on the subject of toxic friendships and what that can ultimately do to you in a time. Well, oh God. Cutting this.
Basically, what we wanted to do was talk about losing friendships and relationships and the effects that can have, because that is also grief.
Yeah.
But people don't seem to understand that sometimes. So that's the thing we want to focus on the most today.
Yeah. Thank you, because I was completely losing my train of thought there. You know, it's a little bit late in the day. It's like, God, what time is it?
I don't know. I can't see the clock on my
hang on. I'm going
to. It's about 10 a.m. here, so it'll be about 11 a.m. p.m.
It's 11:30. It's
11:30
in the evening. So it's been a long day. Oh,
yeah, it really has. Plus, it's Friday the 13th, so you know. Anyway, right. Yeah.
Okay, but yeah. So anyway, we're waffling.
We do that a lot.
If this annoys you, feel free to
kick her ass in the comments.
Oh my God, I dare you, bring it. So anyway, losing a friendship could be one means of grief without death. There are other ways as well, such as what was it you were saying?
Well, you know, losing friendships, losing relationships. There's also, you experience grief when a person you know it gets dementia, and their mind starts to go because they don't remember you.
Kind of like they lose them.
They lose who they are. So, you know, that connection to you gets lost. That's grief as well. And, you know, but they're not dead yet, but they're still there.
But lights are on, but nobody's home, kind of thing.
That's a very hard thing to have to go through. There's also grief when yourself or someone you love is diagnosed with a terminal illness, and they're still alive at the moment, but everybody, including the person with the illness, is having to come to terms with
grieving their own life.
Their life, you know, their mortality. So it's sort of preparing for death, but it hasn't happened yet. You know?
There's also, like, if you lose a limb or become wheelchair bound, or you lose, you kind of lose your independence.
That's a very strange topic as well. Plus, you know, there's things like jobs as well. If you lose a job,
and a career, because something similar actually happened when Glenn got his MS diagnosis. And he lost his career of 12 years as a mechanic, and oh my God, in one fell swoop, he lost his health, he lost his manhood, he lost his career, and he was just broken. He was broken, and it took him about 2.5 years before he kind of broke out of that slump and realized, hang on, wait, well, if I can't use my body, then I'm going to use my mind. And he kind of found himself when he decided to go retrain and kind of work with his new disadvantage kind of thing, work around it.
Turn your disadvantage into an advantage.
Yeah, and he literally saw it as one door closes, another one opens. I mean,
yeah, a way to reinvent oneself.
Yeah, because he always regretted not really taking school all too seriously and never going on to university. He knew he was intelligent, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a mechanic. I always thought it was. Yeah, it's a very impressive.
It's another form of intelligence, but that's a subject for a different.
Yeah, but yeah, he that process in itself was very similar to the grieving process that you would go through death, because he mourned that life, he mourned his health, and he dropped into the depression. He went through the 5 stages. And then he accepted it and moved forward.
But I bet he didn't know that that's what it was.
No, he had no idea. He had no idea. I mean, he just knew this is what was happening to him, and as it was happening to him. But when we stepped back and analysed it a bit, it was like, whoa, hang on.
Yeah.
That's quite interesting.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, and it's kind of similar to when you got your fibromyalgia diagnosis.
Yeah, diagnosis. Everything made sense. Yeah, I have fibromyalgia. I must have had it from a very, very early age, but I only got diagnosed with it about 3 or 4 years ago now. So it's one of those things that I've been struggling to. Oops. My bad. I'm sorry. It's one of those things that I've been struggling to find my way with. I've had to recently give in and buy myself a mobility scooter, and that was a difficult thing for me to have to do, because it's sort of admitting defeat type thing. I mean, I don't use it all the time, but I know full well that my mobility is failing. It's not as good as it used to be. There are times I can't walk through the pain, and I've got to get up and take my kids to school and stuff like that. So that it is grief with that sort of thing, because it's admitting that you can't do what you used to be able to do. But the way I dealt with it, because there's a stigma attached to my face, I'm young, so I shouldn't need one of those type thing. I made myself some L plates and put them on it and just turned it into a joke. So that if anybody asks,
laughing with it, kind of thing.
Exactly, laughing with it. If anybody asks, because they do, oh, you shouldn't need one of those. They'll see the L plates, they'll laugh first, and then if they have any questions, it's easier. The ice has been broken,
Yeah, and it kind of opens that conversation door. And in those moments, you have 2 types of people. They will either stop and engage, or they will judge and walk on.
Yeah.
And do you really want to bother with the ones that judging and walking on?
Not really. But as we say, that's a type of grief as well, because it's coming to terms with a lifelong illness as well.
It's a complete lifestyle change.
Yeah, it's similar to Glenn's MS as well. It's a mobility thing. It can affect your mind and everything. So there's adjustment, but getting the diagnosis, I think, also makes sense, and there's a bit of a relief to it as well.
Yeah, because you at least know that you're not like this because you're being lazy or...
Yeah, and people will probably have said to Glenn that he's being a hypochondriac or something, because I know they said that to me.
Oh, he had plenty of times where people were saying, what's wrong with you?
They don't believe you.
No, they don't. You look fine. And it's like, well, hang on, who are you to judge? You don't know.
Yeah, you're not in my body.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
We're digressing slightly again.
You'll get used to it if you stick with this.
But yeah, that's another type of grief without death. But yeah, the thing that we wanted to focus on was the the loss of friendships and relationships. Because, well, you and I have both had our fair share of that.
Ooh, just a little bit, just
A little bit. Oh. Oh dear.
Ooh, yes.
So where do we kick off with that one then?
Oh god damn, where to start? You know.
Do you want to tell a couple of stories first?
Well, okay. First of all, I want to say about how important friendships are, and how understated and underrated they are. And I find that kind of sad, and we're certainly not the first ones to say this, because it's a discussion that is starting to be more and more vastly spoken about.
Yeah.
And it's been brought to the attention that there is actually no field or specialised field of psychology or help or counselling or support when a friendship breaks down, or if you find yourself in a toxic or narcissistic friendship. Not romantic relationship, because
no, just purely platonic.
But yeah, we're talking purely platonic friendship, and they are so underplayed on how damaging and how utterly devastating it can be when a friendship breaks down, whether it was toxic or whether something completely out of the ordinary or out of the blue happens, and then you're standing there on a pile of blown up bridge, basically. You know, and you're like,
well, the bridge just went,
and you're like, well, that escalated quickly.
Yeah, what happened there? You know, everything seemed fine, and okay, now I don't have this friendship anymore. You know, and where do I go from here?
It sends you spinning and through a loop. And what people tend to say is, oh well, it's
just a friendship. Yeah, friends can go.
And you're like, hang on, wait a minute, I love this person.
Yeah, that person meant something to me. Yeah.
And now I don't know where to go, because I'm upset, but people.
I think one of the things that we need to sort of say right here, right now, is family. You know, everybody puts this major importance on family and the people you are blood related to, and that
romantically involved with.
Or romantically involved with, you know, and they seem to think that is the most important type of love. Most important. Everything centers around that. But what they don't realise is,
if you're getting the dick, it's going to be worth it. It only matters if you get the dick. That's my life. I'm sorry to
And that was one of Louise's no filter moments.
Sorry, peeps. I'm just carry on.
This is generally what we're like when we're just talking to each other. It just descends into giggles. It's a serious subject, so we're going to try and get back onto it, but there will be moments like that, and we do apologise if people get offended by the fact that neither of us have much of a filter.
No one is making you watch.
No, if you don't like it, you can just stop and it's fine.
If not.
Yeah. What was I saying?
I don't know. So, okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, people put this importance on the love of family and you know, your partners, right? But what they fail to realise is, for some people, their family, they're not close to them. And even if they are, friends are family that you choose. And that is a different type of love. That is a love that has been willingly chosen. I mean, you get born into these families. You don't have a choice about that.
Yeah,
you know?
it's almost like there's an obligation for love.
Exactly.
And that age-old saying, you know, blood is thicker than water. You know what? I've got an addition to that. Water is essential for life. You know,
like that.
And it's the water that you choose. It's the water that sustains you. It's the water that gives everything life. You know, blood would not exist without water.
Without the water.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
And these friendships are equally as important, because these are the people that you choose to bring into your life and create that extended family. And that is what a real friendship is.
For example,
essentially is.
This one right here.
A sister from another mister.
To the point where you are the godmother of my children and they call you Auntie Dude.
Yeah, ain't no other way, you know, they're like, yeah, Auntie Dude.
There you go. Auntie Dude. So, yeah, friendships are very, very important to everybody, but they get downplayed. When a friendship breaks down, it's brushed off most of the time. You do get people that are understanding, obviously, depending on how long you've known the person. There will be people that are understanding of these friendship breakdowns, but a lot of people will just go, well, you know, there's you can always go out and make more friends.
Plenty of fish in the sea, kind of thing.
Yeah, in a platonic way. But then
you too, I'd hasten to add. I'm sorry.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
No, I'm not. I'm sorry, but I'm not. Sorry, not sorry.
Not. But yeah, we digress again. So when those friendships break down, you will go through grief. And it's the same 5 cycles. Again, depending on how long you've known them and what actually happened, will depend on your level of grief and how long you stay there. For example, a couple of friendships I've had, I keep going through the same one.
I know who you're going to bring up.
Yeah, well,
don't like him either. Never did. So go on.
We'll go to the most recent toxic friendship that I've had. We won't go to the long-term ones for now.
Oh no, that's a story and a half.
Yeah. But this particular friend I've made, now I have social anxiety, general anxiety. I don't make friends easily.
No.
My longest friendships have all been when I've been at school. So to make a new friend I was in my 20s at the time. That was a big thing for me. And I met this person when we all went to when the kids were going to school and stuff, and I didn't really, head down, really shy, and got talking, and it was all cool. We had a lot of fun together. She literally was the only friend that I had in the town that I live in, because you've moved to Belgium, and I've got friends abroad and in different towns, and don't drive, so I can't see people that often.
Yeah.
So it was nice to have somebody there, just to spend time with. But what I hadn't noticed was the dominance of this person to my submissive. And when another person came back into my life, and another dominant person, another friend that was dominant in my life, there was a bit of a clash going on between the two. And I was getting pushed to one side whilst those two would go off and do their thing. But it was this one friend that I'd had, the newest friend, that was dominating the other one in a way, which was, so I was getting pushed to one side, and I was doing this person a lot of favors and getting treated like crap.
So it kind of was like a one-sided deal.
In the end, yeah. In the end, when it was just her and I, it was more equal, although I didn't see the things everybody else saw. But when this other person got introduced, it was all one-sided from my perspective, and I was trying not to do the whole gossip thing, you know, that you know, things that happen with that, you know, when you get more than two. So
when the covenant of wenches can around the cauldron of poo spirits.
Yeah. So yeah, it was difficult, and I was trying to not talk behind anybody's back, not tell this other friend of mine the things that this main toxic one was doing, and she really, really was being dominating and not nice. Not that she would see it that way; she still doesn't. But in the end, I had to take a very big step back and close the door on that friendship. And it was the other friend of mine that had realized what was going on after a particular incident with a dress. I can't really say too much, obviously, because embarrassment type thing. Plus, you know, it's a difficult area to try and talk about without mentioning names, without mentioning too many of the actual details. But it was this particular friend of mine.
You can always change names, huh?
Yeah, I suppose I can. So it was the other friend that had sort of realised after a while and went, no, this isn't right. Even though there was things not right there either, she'd said, no, this isn't right. What she's doing is wrong. You need to cut her out of your life. And I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified of this woman. To the point where when I did eventually cut her out, had to block and everything like that, she'd kind of go out of her way when we'd have to bump into each other to intimidate me. And I was finding it very difficult to carry on with my life. And in a way, there was, again, with the grief and everything, I was grieving the loss of that friendship, because in my mind, what the hell happened? We were best friends. You know, I told her everything about my life, and she used that to destroy me. She used that to gossip behind my back, and it was, well, what did I do? What did I actually do wrong? I don't understand. And then you get angry, and but this person had become important to me, and then suddenly not having her, it made me very isolated and quite depressed at times, and a bit susceptible to more toxic stuff.
Yeah, but didn't you also see that at one point you also felt a little bit ostracized because friend one and friend two kind of clicked together and bonded further? And
I'd actually said to them both separately, I don't want to be like, you know, you are in school where everything we all do has to be together. So if I want to spend time with this friend, or I want to spend time with that friend, can we not do the jealousy thing? Or if you two want to spend time together, you know, I'm cool with that, without me type thing. So they did.
All the time?
They did. All the time. To the point where friend one, who was the longest friend that I'd had, who had just come back, she suggested that I go round to hers, but don't tell this new friend, this friend two, don't tell her, because she'll have a shit fit if she knows that we're spending time together. So we had to see each other. Somebody I'd known since I was 7 years old. We had to see each other in secret.
Oh, come on.
And when she found out about it, she did lose her shit. But they'd been going out together all the time, and I said nothing.
But the moment that you went with one of them, then, oh no, that was crossing the line and drama.
There you go.
Yeah. That's
So
it's playground tactics when you think about it. You know,
it is quite schoolyard type thing at times. But don't get me wrong. Now that there's been years gone by type thing, and I've calmed down and I've taken stock of things, I'm kind of grateful to have had that person in my life at that particular point, because it led on to me finding more of my confidence back, even though she did try and kind of keep it down. But there was, I had some good experiences with this person and I made some good memories. It's just a shame that things went the way they did, but I can understand from that person's point of view why, I suppose. I guess hindsight's a wonderful thing. Really.
Oh, it's 2020.
Yeah. So while I don't want this person back in my life, and that door is completely and utterly closed, I will never, and people have tried to persuade me to reopen that door, and I will not do it, because it was very toxic. But I am, in a way, kind of grateful that it happened, because it expanded a few things for me and made me learn things, you know? Well, that's the nature of grief, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It really is a journey of self-discovery as well, because you do learn an awful lot about yourself. And if you want to take time to self-reflect, then you can look back with complete honesty, and if you're prepared to just drop the bullshit with yourself, you can see, okay, where did I go wrong? Where did they go wrong? When did things start to go bad between us? Where did we clash? Is there anything that I could have prevented? Is there something I can improve on? Is there something in myself that's the issue?
Do you want to know what mine was?
What?
You already know what mine was.
Yeah, but
you've known me long enough.
Go on.
Boundaries. Boundaries. That is one of my big issues, and that is something, like I said, like you were saying, you have to sit and self-reflect. And I'm still not great at it, as you know. But
oh God, neither am I. I'm not getting on my soapbox. Don't get me
God, no, dude. But it's always easier for me and you to sort of say to the other one,
Yeah, by the way, I'm just going to add, if either of us seem kind of smug or sanctimonious towards each other, it's our thing.
Dynamic.
It's crazy.
That's the way we do things. We've known each other for 20 years. Sorry.
And hands up, I'm a dick. I can be a complete dick to us.
Yeah, you can. That's one of the things that I say to you. I just sort of look at you and go, dude, you're a dick. She's like, yeah, I know. But that's done with love,
Yeah, good so friends rip on each other,
Yeah, we get a bit smug sometimes because, we saw this shit coming.
Oh, yeah.
And the other one's there going, no. Oh, by the way, you're right.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Do you want a hug too? Yeah, I want a fucking hug. Give me a fucking hug.
How many times have I had to say to you, you were right?
You remember how I was making reference to biblical scrolls? Yeah.
Hey. But yeah. So self-reflection, you can see where you go wrong with certain things and how you can improve yourself. You can't do anything about the other people.
I mean, and the best you can do, when something does blow up, is to just let the dust settle for a little while, because let's face it, when emotions are high, people are going to say some really irrational things, especially when the butt hurt is way too strong.
Oh yes.
Yeah, not even the cream is doing the job. That it's irritated. I went way too graphic with that. Filter.
Preparation H on this friendship.
Okay, yeah, we're back. We just had to take a small break.
Yeah.
Things.
A little bit.
Anyway,
so you were saying.
As I was saying, so after the butt hurt has been soothed by the preparation H.
Oh, you nearly got me. I'm gonna put that down.
Yeah. I'm watching. I'm watching. Anyway, and the dust has settled.
Yeah.
And you've had some time to reflect, and you're like, okay, maybe I want to try and make things right, because at some point, if the friendship meant a lot to you, you're going to want to try, or someone's going to want to. Yeah, it's human nature. At some point, someone's going to want to reach out, and it's best, I think. Written is always the best, because you can take your time to fight through any emotions that might be lingering, and really take that time to formulate yourself and say what needs to be said. And you know what? When they read that letter, if they choose to read that letter, they are going to have time to process it. They're going to have time to think, and whatever is said in black and white, and there's no room for misinterpretation or, oh, but you just said this, and no.
Knee-jerk reactions type thing, you know?
Yeah.
You can work through your knee-jerk reactions and calm yourself down, and then decide if you want to respond. Or if they want to respond, whoever it is that's decided to reach out first.
Yeah, indeed. And it kind of brings a story to mind that I kind of went through. And it was with two girls that I was friends with over here in Belgium, that I made friends with over here. Not naming names, but yeah. Again, it was a similar situation. You know, I'm in my 20s, so making friends is, you know, never really been the most
your forte type thing.
No, I've always been a little bit of a.
Just as a side note to that, perhaps at some point we should tell people how we became friends.
We'll get into that in another video, because I think this one is going to be really long, so that's a whole other story. But we will. Anyway, what was I saying? You kind of flipped.
My bad. Your situation. You've just in your 20s, making friends.
Yeah. And I'm also a little bit of a social derp and an introvert, and I also have social anxiety. So I've always been a little bit awkward around people, especially large groups of people. So yeah, making friends is a little bit of a tricky one, because I don't like drama. I don't like back talking. I don't like judgments or gossip, and I really can't be dealing with constant pecking at each other.
Yeah.
And my policy is just talk it out, because if you've got an issue with someone, the best person to air that grievance to is that very person. It's not going to get solved any other way.
That's not to say that if you have little niggles and you're unsure, that you can't discuss it with somebody that you trust, but you have to be careful doing that, because sometimes if you might accidentally choose the wrong person to talk to, and it gets round in circles.
Yeah, kind of happened to me. To me. Yeah,
go on then.
It's something that I really, in hindsight, again, should have really known better.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was mental chaos. So this was in the time period when my husband was going through his psychosis episodes, and we had the nightmare neighbour. and I was hanging by a thread on some heavy anti-anxiety tranquilizers. So I was really just barely hanging in there.
Yeah.
And I had a wonderful, wonderful support network of friends that I met from my husband. They were kind of like inherited when we got together.
They adopted you.
But they're all really lovely, and they were all there for me in my darkest hour. But it was by the time the third, he relapsed for the second. Well, he kind of had 3 breaks. He had the initial psychosis, and then he had 2 relapses. So by the time he had his second relapse, people were starting to get judgy and talky, and I was
supportive.
Not exactly supportive, no, but also during the initial psychosis and the first relapse, thinking about it, it wasn't all that healthy anyway, or even in the run-up to it, thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because there was 2 particular girls, and I'll call one D and one B, just to keep
context.
So D and B and I were all very close friends. I mean, me and B were both expatriates. We were both immigrants to Belgium. I came from England. She came from Norway. We both met our partners via World of Warcraft, so love brought us here. Yeah, it's an awesome game. We'll get into that story on another time.
Yeah.
So we already had a big thing in common that made us make a life-changing decision, and that bonded us, and we got very close. We got so close. We talked and supported each other through a lot of things, but there were certain things about her that niggled me that I did try to address with her. And she was very judgmental. I noticed that was the first thing. And initially I put that down to maybe it was a cultural thing, maybe it's something that I wasn't getting from, because I don't know anything about Scandinavian or Norwegian culture or how they are up there. So maybe it was that, maybe, but okay. And she was also the type that always seemed to know more than the average bear. She I know it all. I'm just going to straight out. No matter what you said, she always knew better, and sometimes she wouldn't take it unless she heard it.
She did a bigger one.
Yeah, and and sometimes it would be a case of unless it came from a valid source or a higher authority, your word counted for nothing until it was proven otherwise, kind of thing. And it was kind of like that with her and her partner. And it was something that, okay, fine, maybe that's just the way she is. And it was something that I learned to kind of accept, as much as it irked me at times. And it was pointless addressing it, because she was like, oh, I didn't realise I did that, and okay, I'm sorry, and nothing would change. But so I kind of just let it go and accept, put it down to that's just how she is.
That's just how she is, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Excuse me. Very sorry.
No problem. And then there was a time that she was having a bad time with her boyfriend, and they broke up, and for a little while she was living here. I'm not going to get into too much, because that's going to be just bitching. So,
we don't really want to do that. That's just
but I'm just going to say it wasn't easy. I was basically playing referee between her and my husband, and it was exhausting. It was really exhausting, and it wasn't pleasant for anyone.
No.
No. And there was sometimes when I sat down to her and I said, look, I understand that this isn't the best situation, and I understand my husband hasn't exactly been pleasant or reasonable or nice. And I can understand if you want to talk. I know you're upset, I know you're hurt, so please talk to me. I want to try and help make this bad situation.
Trying to reach out and mend what, you know.
And I tried this 2 or 3 times, and each time she just smiled. She went, no, it's okay, I understand. It's nothing, it's fine. Don't worry about it, kind of thing. I was like, are you sure?
Dismissing, though. That's sort of dismissing. That's not really addressing the situation.
No. And so I'll move on to D a little bit, because they kind of overlap. And now she has a whole lot of issues. She's a single mother, and she's basically a widower. That's the female widow. Widow, yes. Widower is the male one. Yes. Widow, but they weren't married. But she lost.
Long-term relationship is the same.
Yeah, basically. So she had a lot of problems. She had very turbulent and traumatic upbringing. And she also suffered with BPD, which is borderline personality disorders. Yeah. She had a problem with drugs and alcohol, and despite having all the support in the world, things just went bad for her. I mean, I heard she's getting help, but anyway. So she was talking a lot, and I noticed that she was very gossipy. She was always saying he said, she said, or talking about other people, and I would just okay, fine, try and change the subject, and it would always come back, and there would always be drama. There would always be either a problem with her personal life, or a problem with friendships, or she had annoyed someone, or something was always up. But it came to the point where, and this was during Glenn's psychosis episode, where 2 people that I actually really cared about and was trying to maintain friendships and a supportive network with, were tearing chunks out of each other. And whenever I saw one, she would always have something bad to say about the other. And I was finding myself in the middle, and I couldn't shut it down. I just couldn't shut it down. So out of desperation, and Dee noticed that B had been pulling away, and she was getting upset. She went, I don't understand. Usually we're so close. We can usually talk, and now she seems to be not really answering my calls, not really answering my text messages. When we bump into each other, she's very quick, and it's awkward, and the encounter is over as fast as it starts, kind of thing. And I don't know, I want to know what's wrong so I can fix this.
And seeming genuine then, yeah?
Yeah, and she said this in front of a couple of people, and I thought, okay, maybe if I can figure something out, maybe I can open...
You were trying to bridge the gap?
Yeah, trying to play mediator, which was a big mistake. In hindsight, it was a very big mistake and stupid of me.
Not really, dude. The person that you are is a very kind person. And, you don't really like conflict and everything. In your mind, it was trying to help 2 people that you care about, who, they did care about each other. So it's not you doing something stupid. It's more, it's a reflection on who you are. It's, you didn't know it was going to blow up the way it did, You know, you didn't know what was going to be done. You know, that was just you reaching out, going, "Hey guys, come on, we can all be friends, right? Let's just talk through our differences and, you know, love, come on." You know, that's you.
Yeah, but it didn't kind of work out that way.
No. I've had the same situations where that shit's happened before, and you know, as much as you want to help and everything, if two people are loggerheads all the time, there's nothing you can do.
No.
I guess that's your point, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and well, basically, I went to B, and sure enough, B was again complaining about D and certain things that were said that she had said before that D had said, "I don't appreciate you saying, please can you stop?" And she was still saying it. And she told me a few of her issues, and I thought, okay, right, maybe I can work with this. Maybe I can work with this. So the next time I saw D, I went, look, you really need to talk to B, because I had a talk with her. She aired some of her grievances, and I think if you want to salvage this friendship, you really need to talk to each other. And he was like, "Oh, what did she say? What did she say?" Oh, you know, I was like, "You really need to talk to her. You know, just talk it out. Just say, hey, come on. I feel this. I know there's something wrong. Let's talk about this." And she kept pushing and pushing, and please, I need to know, so at least I know exactly what I'm walking into. So I can at least prepare. And I thought, okay, well, B isn't exactly honest when she's caught out, especially when she's been saying some unpleasant things. She will basically lie through her back teeth to try and save face. And oh, no, that's not what I said. Or no, it was misunderstood. Or no, she's just shit stirring.
Oh.
And I said, okay, I'm going to tell you this because you know what she's like. I know what she's like. So at least you can go armed with the truth, and you can say,
more knowledge. You know.
I know. Let's talk about this. And she was like, okay, yeah, I can do that. So,
sorry, I know what's coming.
Yeah. So I tell her, not. Oh, she said this, that, and the other. But
you weren't gossiping at all.
It was like, yeah, okay. These are her problems. This is what she's been saying, and I think that you really need to talk to her. You know, don't get angry. You need to talk to her.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Openly, honestly, pair of you just, you know, that's what you were saying.
And she was like, yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty pissed. But I will handle this. I will handle this. Now, I think it was about a day or two later. No, it was 2 days later, but the day before it all kicked off, there was an incident with my husband, and I was so close to the edge. I was having a full-blown anxiety attack that I had never experienced quite so intensely before. And I was on the floor in my little toilet, and I had my phone nearby because I was scared just in case I needed to call for emergencies or whatever. But I was just there trying to calm myself down. I don't know how long I was there for, because time was so blurry. I have holes. I have holes in my memory from that time period, so I'm really going through hell. and my phone rings and I see it's B. So I collect myself a little bit and I answer, and she is pissed. She is pissed. She is like, what did you say? What did you say to D?
So she wasn't very happy. She was upset.
Yeah, and I was like, I hung up. I freaked out. I froze. I hung up. Not the best thing to do.
No, but you know, if you're going through that moment where you're in that state anyway, and then somebody starts attacking you, you're already in shutdown mode. So it's quite normal for you to just go click, because it's like the way I was trying to explain to you a panic attack the other day that I was having. All of your thoughts are rushing around in your head, and there's this tiny little door that they're trying to get out of, and it's like a whole crowd rushing forwards, and because everything's trying to come out at once, nothing can come out and it all gets jammed, so you can't respond. There's no brain power left to actually formulate the words that you need to say to her, so the only thing you could do was click.
Yeah. So then the text messages started, and I was like, okay, right. And I tried to formulate myself and say, look, I did what I did. I tried, I know you weren't honest when you're back into a corner, so I told her the truth. I told her to talk to you.
Yeah.
You really need to talk to her. And she was like, you're fake, you're a bitch, you were never a friend, I'm done with you, don't you ever expect anything from me again. And meanwhile her partner is also texting me, I don't care what, I hope whatever you got out of it, it was sick, it was twisted, I hope it was worth it, you're not, the friendship is over, and don't expect anything from us again. And I tried to call them a couple of hours later. I tried to call him, and I said, Nick, I said, N, look, can I just try and explain? And all he kept saying, growling, was, if you want to talk to me, you come and see me at my house. And that's all he kept repeating, no matter how many times. I said, can I just please try and he wouldn't even let me finish. And I just lost it at that point. I went, oh, you know what? You know where I am. And I just hung up, And then for a while afterwards, I kept hearing people come back. They had said this about me. They had heard this about me. They had been saying this about me. I went to Dee. She was also saying, and no matter how much I said to Dee, I don't want to hear it anymore, please, it hurts me too much. I was shaking at the thought of it. I was freaking out. I was distraught. And she would keep bringing, oh, she said this, they've said this, they've said this. But they had already repaired their friendship. And I had already been replaced by another friend who had basically heard some very horrible things about me from them and no longer wanted anything to do with me, even though I didn't know her that well. And I did try to be welcoming to her, but I was just completely cut out, and that was that. And
so you lost 3 friendships by the sounds of that then.
Well, the friendship with Dee lingered a little longer, but it turned into a very toxic, one-sided friendship. I was doing all of the communication efforts. She never came to my home. I always went to her. Whenever I invited her, she would always have an excuse not to come. Whenever I had a rare meeting with her, 9 times out of 10 she would flake on me. It would always be a reason, can't, I'm sick, kids, busy, whatever, forgot, double booked.
You really don't have a friendship left is because they're just not.
But she always had time if she needed me for something, or my help, or a babysitter, or and in the end, it went on for so long, and I've just given up. I've just given up.
Shit, I've got a phone call. Hang on.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that unexpected phone call delay.
Yeah. That was a bit weird, but my bad.
Yeah, sorry. So we got a little bit thrown off, so sorry if it's a little bit jumpy. Yeah. So I think basically what I was saying before the interruption was basically I got well and truly thrown under the bus, and
it sounds like
a campaign started, and I was devastated. I mean, I still had friends, but they were all male. I had lost all the female friends, and I was sat there thinking,
what do you do? How did this happen?
Yeah, and I blamed myself for the longest time, and as you do, and I've had time to reflect on.
Tying in what we were saying, that was your grief cycle.
Yeah, it was shock, and then it was denial. No, wait, this couldn't possibly be it, and it was insane, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to let the dust settle, but the dust never really settled because the gossip continued, and I found myself in a place because Dee was stirring the pot. Basically, I found myself instead of calming down, I was getting angrier. And
that's one of the stages of grief there, isn't it? That's the anger stage.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what, and then it occurred to me, well, wait, they did say the friendship was over. I mean, we had a 5-year friendship, 4 or 5-year friendship, something like that. And
it's a lot of investment to go to waste, isn't it?
Yeah, and okay, we had a couple of little disagreements that we managed to talk out, but this was essentially the first big fuck up I had made, and it was over. It was just over. And this girl had been gossiping and caught gossiping about me and saying stuff behind my back, and I had confronted her, and she had lied about it and denied it or tried to ask cover, and it was like, well, if I can forgive you for that, if I can forgive all the other blow-ups that you guys have had, I fuck up once and that's it. And the more I think about it, Dee must have been stirring the pot.
You are preaching to the choir with that one. I know exactly where you're coming from, but yeah.
Yeah, so consequently, like I said, the friendship with Dee lingered a little bit, I guess, because in a way I wanted to try and salvage something, but she just didn't appear to care.
No, it didn't seem that way, but
I mean, I've seen her once in the last 6 months, and I've not heard from her since.
Well, at the end of the day, as far as you can only go through your feelings, try and learn something from it. Excuse me.
Well, I definitely learned it. It's basically with some new people that I've started to what's the right word?
Form a friendship with,
or bond with, or at least an acquaintance with. Now, there was some problems with a little bit of drama and gossip, and I thought, you know what? And I shut it down. I shut it down, and it felt good because I was like, okay, this is a chance to not go down that road from day one. And
I think. Go on, sorry.
Sorry. To not go down that road from day one, and to establish this is my boundary. Do not cross it. And if that's what you want, fine. But that's not what I want, and I'm going to go somewhere else, kind of thing. And that is such a liberating and much more healthier way, because I find that when they say, okay, fine, fair enough, you can actually start to enjoy the friendship. I mean, all you need to say is, hey, why are you doing this? There are so many other things to talk about. Why talk about that? And
yeah, that's a good way of doing it. It's I think it's important to like you said earlier, with self-reflection. If you can understand where things went wrong from your side of things, you can learn things about yourself. You can learn ways to possibly diffuse or avoid that same kind of cycle of patterns repeating itself. And you can find ways to form these friendships in a healthy way and deal with things in a healthy way, which is all you really ever tried to do. But you didn't know the tools at that particular point to use, and now you do.
In a way, I can thank them for the lesson and the experience, even though it was unpleasant. But it also reinforces a point, and it's something that I can always say that our friendship has had, and it's always instilled good health, both mentally and physically. And it's so true. It's actually a thing that, as I said before, the people that you associate yourself the most with are a lot to do, well, a big part of your self-identity, and it kind of changes you in a way, and you kind of, it's like almost a social chameleon, and you either thrive and flourish because people are positive, or they will drag you down because they are so negative and energy draining. And if they're so negative and energy draining, you're depressed, you have no energy, you're just feeling shit. It's not good physically, it's not good mentally. But on the contrary, if people uplift you, that in itself comes with so much more benefits.
Yeah.
And it's just so much healthier for everyone.
Real friends lift each other up, do not tear each other down.
Word. Word. And that's the basic, and that's the thing that is shocking, that it's so downplayed, because when a friendship breaks down, it is essentially the first domino knocked in a path to depression, in a path to grief, in a path that you need support through, and not to be brushed aside.
Exactly.
It's not just a friendship, it is a loss.
Absolutely. It's one of those things, like we were saying earlier, it does get downplayed. It does get brushed aside. But these people that you form friendships with, you've said this before, they make up part of who you are. So when they leave, or
they take a part
of die, they take a part of you with them. And that's what you're trying to struggle with, what you're struggling with and trying to deal with when you go through these grief cycles. And for somebody to say, well, you could just go out and make more friends, they're completely dismissing the fact that a piece of you just got taken away.
Exactly.
Whether that person was uplifting or toxic, that was still part of your identity that is now gone.
And
so,
on that note, never downplay it.
Never downplay it. Your friendships are important.
And treasure them. Don't take them for granted. And not all friendships.
Communicate honestly and openly.
Yeah, because not all friendships are toxic, especially when they hit a rocky patch. It's a normal run of the course, but it's how you handle those moments that determines whether or not it will become toxic. And most of it on the personality and mental health of the person that you're attempting with, and their willingness. But ultimately, don't talk shit behind backs. Just talk to each other.
Yeah, exactly. Communication is the key to everything. Absolutely everything, with your friendships and everything, and relationships, and it's you have to communicate honestly and let go of ego.
Because ego.
These need. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we're all seeking these connections because humans are social creatures. So we're all programmed to seek out each other and experience each other and love each other. But if you can't let go of your ego and self-reflect, that's when these conflicts occur and cannot be resolved, because you just too many locked horns type thing, knee-jerk reactions. So take a step back, calm the fuck down, self-reflect,
Zen
and
the
then
fuck
reach
out.
out. Zen the fuck out, and then reach out.
Yeah. And sometimes when someone does reach out, it's not necessarily a good thing, because he did try to reach out to me, but at the wrong times. Both times. The first time was when my mother passed, and it was just, no, if you cannot be there for me when I am at my lowest, and you can't understand what I was going through then, and you could be so brutal and not even want to talk about it until now. And she didn't even want to talk about it. She just wanted to fish for gossip, I think. I says, I don't want this. And quite frankly, you said the friendship was over, so it's over, goodbye. Do not contact me again.
That's you protecting yourself. That's also another important factor, is when you have identified somebody that is toxic in your life. However, to whatever degree they may be, if you have tried and tried and tried to reach out to this person and repair things, and all you really get is just dismissal. At some point you have to protect yourself and go, right, well, I may still love you, but I'm going to have to love you from afar, because you are damaging to me, and in turn I am damaging to you in a way, because we just aren't quite clicking in the right ways, and our reactions are not gelling.
Yeah, so, I mean, essentially she had a lot of negative things to say to me instantly after that one thing, and it turned out, with the timeline from what I've heard from other people, it was before the big blow up as well. So she had problems with me, they both did have problems with me, and they chose not to talk to me about it, and they used this one mistake I made to make a big production out of it, and that was that. And I'm sorry, but for me, I can forgive them for that, because I can understand my mistake. I accept my fuck up. I can't be more. Own it. I own it. I can't be more sorry for any pain it caused, but it's happened. I can't undo it. But there is no going back after everything that's been said. That they have clearly shown what they truly think of me, and there is, in my opinion, nothing more to say. And she tried to contact me again another time. I think it was a few days after Kaylee died, and I just ignored it. I just go away.
Really the wrong time. Although I suppose, in a way, that may have been coming from a place of genuine, oh, I'm so sorry type thing, but after everything...
It was the last person I needed, and it was sympathy, not empathy. Yeah. But on that note,
we're going to have to wrap this up,
because this is going to be a very long video.
The mammoth one.
I really don't.
But then it was a complicated subject, wasn't it? So.
And I think it's one that we're going to definitely revisit, because
I think we
have so much more to say on the subject. And of course, if you have any questions, or if you would like to weigh in on the conversation, then please feel free to leave a comment. And would like to address it in one of our videos, or maybe the next
Yeah,
video.
if you have any questions about things to do with grief or these toxic friendships, again, we're not qualified. We're only talking from personal experience, plus the things that we've learnt along the way. We've learned a heck of a lot.
And still learning.
And still learning, because life, you don't stop learning. But if you would like us to try and talk about certain things, then please do leave a comment or get in contact somehow. I don't know if you can message on YouTube.
I think so. I'm not sure.
Perhaps. And we'll do it. You know, we're quite willing to expand and talk about things and engage with you. So that would be good if you feel like you wish to.
Anyway, thanks again for watching, peeps. And again,
thank you.
Big salute if you made it this far. You're awesome, guys.
That was a long one.
It was a really long one, and I really hope that you enjoyed it and managed to get some comfort and take something away from this mammoth chat. and also got a few good giggles too. I know we did. Yeah. So, on that note, guys, thanks for watching. As always, it's much appreciated. Much love, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Bye.